What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, bringing you the final episode of post-draft grades, where we'll be taking a look at the last, but certainly not least, the AFC North, which was, maybe we're finishing off on a high note. This could have been the strongest grouping of players out of any division. Really, I think maybe the NFC South and NFC East would be the two big-time rivals for this matchup, if we're really comparing all the big draft classes. So very, very good drafts for all these teams, which we're about to jump into. But if you guys have enjoyed all my draft grades and you have yet to subscribe and you've liked all that stuff, feel free to do that. Smash the like button. If you enjoy hearing my grades, not some guys paid by the man at NFL Network, ESPN, or any of those junk garbage places. So without further ado, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who selected at pick 30 T.J. Watt, the linebacker from the University of Wisconsin. Great lineage, great genes, great genetics that he has, being the brother of J.J. Watt. I didn't think T.J. Watt was still going to be there at 30. I thought a team maybe like the Giants or the Dolphins would have selected him. And I did acknowledge that a big need for the Steelers, in my opinion, was getting the guy that's going to eventually take over for James Harrison. It seems like they've used James Harrison as a Band-Aid, a very effective and terrifying Band-Aid. That being said, the last couple seasons, they haven't really. They had Bud Dupree who's emerged last season, but who's going to take that spot? So I think really getting a true talent with unbelievable upside in T.J. Watt at pick 30 was a great pick. I'm giving that a B+. Obviously, just recently started playing on the defensive side of the ball. Started as a tight end at Wisconsin. So he's still a project-type player with a high ceiling, but he's going to a great situation where he's not going to have to rush into play and start right away because James Harrison is there. And he can learn from James Harrison. Imagine just having a J.J. Watt-type playmaker with James Harrison's just sheer goddamn terrifyingness. That could be T.J. Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Down to the second round, pick 62, they got JUJU Smith-Schuster, the wide receiver from USC. I'm going to stay right at the bat. You never want to hear my grade on a wide receiver from USC, so I'm trying to be as unpersonal as possible. I'm giving this a C+ with some upside. I mean, before, if you looked at a lot of the post-season mock drafts, JUJU Smith-Schuster was a first-round talent. Has a lot of upside, has maybe the nastiest stiff arm I've ever seen a wide receiver have. Big, powerful type playmaker. Clearly, Ben Roethlisberger wanted another weapon in Pittsburgh, and maybe they're not sold on the availability of Martavis Bryant. How much can you rely on that? So adding another wide receiver to the mix, I think is a solid pick. So a C+ with upside. But again, asking an Eagles fan how he feels about a USC wide receiver is kind of like asking, kind of like asking a Falcon fan who their favorite Patriot player is right now. Kind of same tension. Going to the third round, pick 94, they selected Cameron Sutton, the corner from Tennessee. I'm giving this a B grade. I really do like Cameron Sutton. He's a perfect fit for that Steelers team. He's a corner, a little bit undersized, but plays very, very fierce, loves to get involved in tackling. And if he can stay healthy, some injury concerns, I think he's going to be a nice playmaker back there for the Steelers that need to continue to add depth in their secondary. With their second, third round pick at 105, they got James Conner, the running back from Pitt. I'm giving this a C+. He should emerge as the top depth behind Le'Veon Bell. Great story, but more than just a great story, man, he was uber productive at Pitt. Look at it, he was 2014? He was a monster. He had like 30-some touchdowns, and even last year coming back after chemo and beating cancer, still will look very, very good. Underrated hands for a big body type running back. Really do like this pick and fit for the Steelers. Because, you never know what's going on with Le'Veon Bell. Maybe he wants to make another hot, super fire mixtape, and smoke a couple of fucking pounds of weed, and then test. Because when he knows he has a test. He doesn't seem. Le'Veon Bell seems like a fucking idiot, to be completely honest with you. He's one of the best. I say, 1A, 1B between him and David Johnson for the top running back in the NFL right now. But God, he seems like an idiot. I'm pretty sure most Steeler fans could agree with that. Because he just, he fucks your seasons over. But yeah, C+ for James Conner. Looking to the fourth round, 135, they got Josh Dobbs, the quarterback from Tennessee. I'm giving this a C with upside. A lot more people are higher on Josh Dobbs than I am. I watched probably 3 Tennessee games last year. And aside from the comeback against my Florida game, he just doesn't have accuracy, I don't think, for the NFL. He's an athletic project-type quarterback. Clearly, they need to get another quarterback with the uncertainty of Ben Roethlisberger. It looks like that's going to be a year-to-year storyline every offseason. So I don't want to discredit Josh Dobbs because he definitely has the kind of framework to be the next, oh my God, look, he slipped through the cracks and now he's a monster. Usually those athletic quarterbacks that can just go to the right scenario, get the right coaching, they can be that guy, and I don't want to be the person oh, you shit on him, now look at him, you're an idiot. But as it stands right now, I don't think he is capable of being an NFL quarterback, but, play me on Ben Roethlisberger, he's not going to have to play outside of the preseason, so I'm going to say C with some upside to develop into what could be a good quarterback. 5th round, 173, they got Brian Allen, the corner from Utah. This guy's pretty much height, weight, speed, and that's it. His mechanics definitely need refining. He's going to be, every sense of the word, a project player. So that's a C. 6th round, 213, they got COLIN, HOLBA, a long snapper from Louisville. You drafted a long snapper in the 6th round. D. You get those guys undrafted free agent. Come on. You know this. And then the 7th round, 248, they got KEION Adams, the linebacker / defensive end from Western Michigan. He was draftable talent, so that is a C for an overall grade for the Pittsburgh Steelers of a B-. Moving on to the Cleveland Browns, who just seemed like they had every single pick in the draft. Who at number 1, they didn't Browns things up. They did not Cleveland Browns up. The first overall selection, they selected Myles Garrett, the defensive end from Texas A&M. Got to give them an A+. It's an A. It's an easy A because it's what they should have done. But I'm giving them the A+ because of the Browns. And I'm still, I expected them to make this pick. Most people expected them to make this pick. But then everyone else was kind of in the back of their mind like, they're going to pick Mitchell Trubisky. Just watch them screw this up. So I'm giving them the A+. Maybe they're finally, Sashi Brown and company are getting that organization in the right direction. Pick 25 in the first round, they selected Jabril Peppers, the offensive weapon from Michigan. I'm going with a C+ with upside as it stands right now. I mean, debatably, he could come in and be the top safety on the Browns roster because the Browns maybe have the worst safety tandem starting in the NFL. But I just don't think his coverage ability is where it needs to be to play against NFL caliber offenses. I mean, the Browns are slowly becoming an NFL caliber defense. So you have to wait and see how they tend to use Jabril Peppers. So that's why I'm giving a C+ with some upside, as I just don't know. There's still a lot of uncertainty there with that pick. And then at 29 in the first round, they got David NJOKU, the tight end from Miami. And then they did quickly release Gary Barnidge. I'm giving this a B. I think there's upside with him right now as a project player. He still should be able to come in and get 600-700 yards. I think he can have as good of a stat line as Gary Barnidge, and there's still a lot more upside with NJOKU. And, by the time they finally find a quarterback there in Cleveland, if, maybe he's on the roster, maybe not, I think NJOKU, 2 years down the road can seriously be one of the top tight ends in the NFL. Upside is there enormously. If he can continue to develop in all facets of being a tight end, that means, run blocking as well. He's going to be a beast. And I think he certainly is athletic enough to do that. Then with the 52nd pick in the 2nd round, they selected DeShone KIZER, the quarterback from Notre Dame. I'm giving this a B. Again, I'm not as high on KIZER as some other people. He looked, obviously, the most vivid game was when, year ago, not last season, the year before that, when Temple played Notre Dame. KIZER really took over that game. I was like, wow, this guy's going to be good. I just like the pick in the 2nd round. I like it. No one reached for him in the first. He slipped a little bit. They were able to, I don't know, didn't they trade with the Titans or something to get this pick? Yeah, I like it, man. I like the value. It's about appropriate to where KIZER should have been selected, so I have to give them a B for that. And I think there's gonna be a quarterback competition between him and Cody Kessler. Best man wins. I'm gonna guess they might give it to Kessler and not rush things with KIZER, but eventually, man, Hugh Jackson will get that figured out. 3rd round pick 65, they got Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle from Charlotte. Yeah, I think I had him as a 2nd round pick in my mock draft, so I'm giving this a B. Again, tremendous value, adding more depth to the defensive tackle spot behind Danny Shelton. I like that pick. Good defensive prospect with some upside. 4th round, 126, they got Howard Wilson, the corner from the University of Houston. I'm giving this a C+. Another guy, this is both appropriate for him to go, and they need to get better at the secondary. He's a guy that come in and can be top depth right away. 5th round, 160, they got Roderick Johnson, the offensive tackle from Florida State. I think I had him going in the 2nd round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in my mock draft. You make the Jameis Winston Florida State, this guy's Florida State connection. So I'm going to say B. That's tremendous value for a team that really invested heavily in free agency and spent a lot of money on the offensive line. I think Rod Johnson is not going to get rushed into things and can take his time. Great pick here. 6th round, 185, they got Caleb Brantley, the defensive tackle from Florida. This is a B+ with a question mark, obviously. Looking at his case, it's another bullshit. It seems like the player's going to win. Looks like some chick came up and started fucking swinging at him, so he self-defense and knocked the bitch on her ass. But I'm just saying that as a Gator fan, taking the Gators' side. We don't have the best history over the last 10 years of producing senior model citizens outside of Tim Tebow. But B+ with upside, man. If everything passes and he's fine, he's a guy that was a fringe 1st-round talent that you got in the 6th round. 7th round, pick 224. They got the best kicker in the draft, in ZANE Gonzalez from Arizona State. That's a C+. I mean, you can't give much more higher than a C+ for a kicker. But considering, I think he was like the 2nd kicker or 3rd kicker taken, actually. Whew, what the hell are they watching? He won the award. He's like the most accurate kicker in the history of college or something like that. And then finally, finishing up in 252 in the 7th round, they got Matt Days, the running back from NC State. 2,000-yard seasons. He's been very productive as a college running back. Getting that in the 7th round, very nice value. I'm giving that C with an upside for an overall grade of an A for the Cleveland Browns. Very, very good draft. You had all the picks, and you made the most of them. So very, very solid draft. One of the best in the class, I think, right there with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who do you give any other A's? We gave the Bills, the Bucks, and the Browns. So far, we still got the Bengals and Ravens A grades. That's it. Spoiler alert. Only 3 teams got A grades from me. So now moving on to the Cincinnati Bengals, who at pick 9 selected John Ross, the wide receiver from the University of Washington. Now, I remember someone in the comment section below said this wasn't a panic pick. This was 100% a panic move. They saw the 2 wide receivers already go off the board. They went, shit. Let's shuffle this around. This is our last opportunity to get a game-changing wide receiver. None of these guys are going to slip out of the first round. So let's go and grab them right now. So they got John Ross. Durability concerns. It's a good and a bad pick. That's probably the best way. I think it was a little bit of a reach. I don't necessarily think John Ross was the 9th best player in the draft. I don't think that his size is certainly valid of durability concerns. The fact that he had durability concerns because of his size, and he missed some time at Washington, and then when he ran his 40-yard dash time, he got hurt off of that, which is another flag. But on the positive, he adds a dimension to their offense they don't have. I think John Ross, A.J. Green, and Tyler Boyd is a very formidable wide receiver core. Cincinnati certainly took a step back last year when they lost Mohamed Sanu and Marvin Jones, and they're kind of recouping that to try to give Andy Dalton the most opportunity to win in that division. So C+ with upside. I don't necessarily hate the pick. I just can't get down with John Ross with his issues going at 9. Trade down. But then, if they didn't want to trade down, that's because it was a panic move. And they had to use this pick to get a wide receiver. So that's a C+ with upside. Going to the 2nd round, pick 48, they got Joe Mixon. I was giving this an A all day long. I am salty that the Philadelphia Eagles didn't get Joe Mixon. When the Bengals made that selection, the boos at the draft thing with all the Eagle fans were deafening. That was probably the loudest boos that wasn't when a Cowboy fan or a Cowboy player was up there announcing a pick. We really wanted Joe Mixon. Bengals, I mean, you don't really need another running back as on paper. Obviously, you have Bernard and you have Jeremy Hill, but clearly this is forward thinking. Probably Jeremy Hill won't be there after next year. Mixon could definitely be a lead back. For all you fantasy people out there, maybe make a late round flyer on a Joe Mixon. It's an A every day of the week. 3rd round, pick 73, they got Jordan Willis, the defensive end from Kansas State. Good value, a guy that a lot of people thought would go in the 2nd round, slipped to 73, so I'm giving them a B+. 4th round, 116, they got Carl Lawson, defensive end from Auburn. Really, really like this pick. Tremendous value. I mean, he was a guy, sleeper to go in the 1st round. I saw a couple mock drafts having him in the 1st round. I figured he'd be like a middle 2nd round pick. Getting him at 116, I mean, this guy was a beast at Auburn. Didn't have the best of seasons last year, but overall his body work at Auburn was very good, and he had a really, really good combine. So he went in the 4th round. I'm giving this an A. Another A. 2 A's for the Bengals. You're probably already pissed off with my John Ross evaluation, but I'm still giving you 2 A's. 4th round, 128, they got Josh Malone, the wide receiver from Tennessee. I'm giving that a C+. Nice project guy, height, weight, speed. 4th round, 138. Here's where the Bengals go downhill. If you looked at, if I just was evaluating the 1st round, or the first 4 rounds, I'd give them probably an A-, like something in the A range. I think they had a terrible, terrible 2nd day. Ryan Glasgow at 138, defensive lineman from Michigan. Just, another depth guy. That's a C. 5th round, 153, they got Jake Elliott, the kicker from Memphis. Not even the best kicker in the draft. That's a C-. Drafting a kicker in the 5th round, and he's not Zane Gonzalez. 5th round, 176, J.J. Dielman, depth guy at center, C. 6th round, 193, Jordan Evans, who is a linebacker from Oklahoma. That's a C. 6th round, 207, Brandon Wilson, the corner from Houston. That's a C. He can't body, special teamer. And then the 7th round, 251, Mason Schreck, the tight end from Buffalo. Never heard of this guy. Looked like he was going on draft. That's a C-. So really, all their picks, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks. They could have done way better with some of the names that were on the board, in my opinion. So finishing up, gives the Bengals overall a B+ grade. And I think if they just had a better final day, day 3, they would have definitely got one of the top grades, getting Joe Mixon, Jordan Willis, Carl Lawson. Those are money picks. And then, even though I might not agree with where they selected John Ross, I still understand the pick. I understand the selection. And if all works out, he's a great dimension to add to their offense. But a B+ for the Bengals. And now we're finishing up with the Baltimore Ravens, who at pick 16 selected Marlon Humphrey, the corner from Alabama. I feel like that was a little bit of reach at 16, but Baltimore Ravens certainly have drafted well enough in the years past that I can't really come out and overly criticize where they select players. So I'm just giving this a C+, and I'm going to wash my hands of it dry. Marlon Humphrey, debatably, one of the more intriguing corners in the 1st round. Height, weight, speed, some good production, some bad production, but certainly a team like Baltimore will be able to figure it out. Second round pick 47, they get Tyus Bowser, the outside linebacker from Houston. I'm giving that a B+. They needed to get an outside linebacker. That was my top need for them. With T-Sizzle getting, I don't know, does he have a year or two left maybe? And then they got rid of Elvis Doomer. I thought edge rush as an outside linebacker in that 3-4 was a big name. So Bowser, great fit there. That's a B+. Third round pick 74, they got Chris Wormley, the defensive lineman from Michigan. I'm giving that a B-. Another solid pick. Just get a guy with good production from a good defense in Michigan. They got that pick from Philly. That was the pick we got for Timmy Jernigan. So maybe, hidden message, maybe they want Worley over Timmy Jernigan. That's why they made this deal. 78, they got Tim Williams, a linebacker from Alabama, giving us a B+ with upside. I had a mock to the Ravens. I think the Ravens is the kind of team he needs to go to. They have a good structure there for a guy with some off-the-field concerns. Upside is very, very high in Tim Williams. He may actually end up being even a better pick than Tyus Bowser. But they're definitely reloading there. I mean, I could see in 2018, Bowser and Williams being their two starting outside linebackers. So that is a B+ with upside. Fourth round, 122, they got Nico Siragusa, the offensive lineman from San Diego State, the guy that blocked for Donnell Humphrey. He's a big mauler-type player. I like this pick. That's a B. Fifth round, 159, they get Jermaine Illuminor, offensive tackle from Texas A&M. Not ready to play right now. Kind of a project player, but certainly has a high ceiling to be an eventual starter in the NFL. So that's a C+. And then finishing out at pick 186 in the sixth round, they got Chuck Clark, the safety defensive back from Virginia Tech, special teamer. Probably going to be more likely, so that is a C for an overall grade for the Baltimore Ravens of a B. So again, all the teams here in the AFC North had very strong draft classes, in my opinion. So if you agree or disagree with any of these ratings, let me know in the comment section below. If this is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys all for staying tuned for my draft grades. On to the next thing that we're going to be doing here. This Friday, you got your new rebuild revival, the San Francisco 49ers, so stay tuned for that and a whole bunch of other stuff, as Madden 18 season is just around the corner here on Beast Mode TV. Thank you guys for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the next one.